The first generation of Pokemon games introduced players to the original 151, a beautiful set of perfect creatures with absolutely no faults whatsoever. Okay, so they had some issues. A lot of issues. For anyone looking for a semblance of competitive balance, you're looking at a small handful of viable Pokemon and an even smaller number of viable moves. Surf, Hyper Beam, Agility, Wrap, Slash, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Psychic. The Gen 1 meta was solved from the beginning. But if that's the best you get, why have all these other moves? And more importantly, why do most of the best Pokemon not have access to good moves outside of TMs? Well, putting on my game designer cap, I can see the attempts to add uniqueness, adventure, discovery, and even a form of relative balance amid the strange and wild Learnsets of Gen 1 Pokemon. I'm Mithril Zenith, and today I'm going to explain why the awful Gen 1 Learnsets are actually fantastic. Now, where to start? How about with one of my favorites, Gen 1 Beedrill. This big bee is a tricky bug to get working, I won't sugarcoat it. Poison Sting until level 12 is bad. Even worse is catching a Kakuna and having only Harden until level 12. Yellow did a ton of Pokemon a favor by adjusting Learnsets and letting them learn moves right after evolving, but Beedrill wasn't available in Yellow, so it gets screwed no matter what game you play. But if you get that buzzer all the way to 12, you get Fury Attack? Okay, not the worst move, but it's better than Tackle, half the time. And the other half the time it either misses or is worse. But that's not the full story. Beedrill's stats are fully evolved at a time when most other Pokemon haven't evolved once. You don't have good moves, sure, but nobody at that point has good moves. Your raw stats will help carry you. And man, is this taking a while. But not longer than a Magikarp, at least the Beedrill's participating in combat. And once level 20 rolls around, you get the best bug-type move in the game, the exclusive Twin Needle. 25 base damage, always hits twice, 20% chance to poison. This thing is sick. Now, 25 base power might not sound like a lot. Hitting twice doubles it to 50, and stab brings it to 75. And at 75 power, by modern standards, Twin Needle is nothing. But we aren't playing a modern game. We are playing Gen 1. And at 75 power, that's better than most Pokemon can expect to get from their Learnsets until at least their 30s. Not only that, but first gen Bug type has something else up its sleeve. No, not the Psychic weakness, though that is unique to Bug in Gen 1. I'm talking about Poison weakness. Yes, for whatever reason, Gen 1 and only Gen 1 makes Poison types weak to Bug moves. So, with an effective spread of Psychic, Grass, and Poison, Twin Needle is hitting most foes for significant damage. And every Grass type, except for Paras and Tangela, is getting hit for 4 times damage. The bee is packing 300 effective power from level 20 against a very large subsection of all the Pokemon you're going to face in the mid-game. Can I get a buzz? But enough about why you should stan the OGB, let's talk about Bulbasaur. Getting stung to death instantly isn't great, sure, but it's packing a secret weapon, Solar Beam. 120 base power after charge isn't great, sure, but do you know what the next best non-exclusive Grass-type move in Gen 1 is? Mega Drain, at base 40. Solar Beam might take a turn to charge up, but you're dishing out 50% more Grass DPS than your next best option. And we are bypassing the annoying max potions or low HP swap outs that gym leaders have. Plus, with Leech Seed, you have an easy self-sustain setup baked in. Sure, you have to wait until level 65, but it is a payoff. But why wait until 65 when you could learn it at a cool 48? Because Gen 1 did this funny thing where Pokemon learn moves faster if they don't evolve. Bulbasaur learns all its moves by level 48, and all it takes is missing out on 32 levels of having evolved stats. Okay, so you probably aren't getting a Bulbasaur that high of a level, but you might be getting a Gloom to 38. Stone evolutions were particularly rude when it came to Learnsets, and for good reason. They saw evolution as a trade-off. You could get your fancy Vileplume as soon as you reach Celadon, no questions asked, and then deposit it in your box to check off your Pokedex. But if you wanted the best Vileplume, you'd have to lovingly nurture that Gloom to level 38 to get the actual best Grass-type DPS in the game, a move called Petal Dance. At only 70 base with Thrash mechanics, it doesn't look like much, but remember, the other options that it's competing with are Mega Drain and pre-Sunny Day Solar Beam. This is also an exclusive move to the Oddish line. Venusaur, Victreebel, and Exeggutor cannot get Petal Dance. If you want the best sustained grass DPS in the generation, you need a level 38 Gloom, no exceptions. Moves like Petal Dance show the hand of the developer in trying to make all Pokemon feel more distinct. If you wanted Spore, you had to level a Paris. You want Twin Needle or Pin Missile? Better be willing to put up with that Beedrill grind, or make your one and only Eevee a Jolteon. Fire Spin? Charizard, Flareon, and Vulpix can all learn it, but you'd have to get one into their 40s first. So, Pokemon can eventually learn good moves, but what are you dealing with on the way there? Well, if most Pokemon aren't getting their best moves by leveling up until their 30s or 40s, then you might want to take a look at a TM. Gen 1 TMs offer a huge variety of one-off moves to your team. Some of them are the best moves in the game, others are just solid filler options or weird type coverage until your Learnsets come online. Why can Raticate learn Bubble Beam? Don't question it. The rat can be good filler while you wait for the rest of your team to get up to speed. Why is Body Slam a TM? Great question. It is one of the best physical moves most Pokemon can learn, but only Jigglypuff, Poliwhirl, Lapras, and Snorlax can get it from their Learnsets. Plus, you can't buy TM08, so you better make sure that whatever Pokemon gets Body Slam will be around for a while. And that's the tricky part about the vast majority of the best moves in the game being TM moves. They're designed to give you what you need, when you really need it, but only once. While you can grind out coins to give everyone Hyper Beam, you'll really have to feel the investment of giving a Pokemon a once per game TM like Ice Beam or Body Slam. If you're just going through the story, you might not realize what an investment some of these TMs are, and give Psychic to your Abra just to speed along your team. And the game is perfectly fine with you doing this. Heck, it practically expects you to. Single-use TMs remind me of the original design philosophy of Magic the Gathering. Richard Garfield expected small playgroups to form, and for good cards to be rare one-offs popping up here and there, common enough to be seen, but rare enough that you wouldn't see them all within a single playgroup, let alone own all them yourself. There was no expectation for anyone to be able to track down 4 Black Lotuses, let alone all the other powerful cards in the game, hence why some cards were allowed to be straight up more powerful than others in incredibly significant ways. The same design philosophy can be seen in early Gen 1 Pokemon. Nobody was expected to play through the game 6 times just to make a team full of only the best moves and Pokemon available. Players were expected to use what they found, feel rewarded for going through these roundabout leveling journeys to get unique moves and Pokemon, and maybe trade or battle with someone else who had different Pokemon and moves, and then talk about what they did to get them. This sort of small-world intentionality of design is lost on the modern gamer, with internet guides and hyper-competitive battling being commonplace. As such, it's no wonder that TMs became infinite use, that most moves got balanced to be competitively viable, and that any that aren't are considered stepping stones for low-level Pokemon to use while leveling through the story. This is fine for the streamlined experience modern Pokemon has become, but I do think it misses that odd sense of adventure that, despite how basic and broken it was, the first generation of Pokemon managed to create with its simple mechanics. I started thinking about all of this because, well, I made a mistake. I played Kaizo Blue. I even beat it. And the most frustrating part of it wasn't the overleveled enemies, it wasn't the uphill bike jump maze or the exploding Geodudes, though all of that was terrible. No. The worst thing was something that was intended to be a positive. Every wild Pokemon came with a perfect meta moveset. And that's when I learned that move expression, and giving your Pokemon better moves through TMs or going out of your way for leveling, is one of the few ways that you as a player can actually interact with the original games and turn the difficulty in your favor. Taking that away, even if you're on paper giving the player the best possible options, takes away a lot of the fun of using these Pokemon. Leveling them up, going through the pain of 12 levels of Poison Sting or 30 levels unevolved for Petal Dance. Sure, it's tedious, but it's a unique source of investment into your team that often gets overlooked. But maybe that's just me. I am a fan of slow progression after all, as my thousands of hours in old school RuneScape will attest. If you have a different take on the Gen 1 Learnsets, let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching. I hope this foray into the first generation of Pokemon wasn't too much of a direction change from my normal Fire Emblem viewer base. I'll be back with more Design 101 content soon. Special thanks to my channel members for making this all possible, especially Royal Lagoosguard member The Forgotten L. There's also Lagoosguard members C2 Peekly, Enigmatic Mr. L, Mad Moke, Pro Duderman, Kumi, Miss Mesmerism, Lakag, Relaz6, and Inside Chaos. Thank you so much, and this is Mithril Zenith signing out.